Okay, well, welcome everyone. So this is our meeting in July, which is different from the previous meetings in that for the first time, we're having it on the second Saturday of the month. We usually have it on the third, and we did a little vote and decided that, we wanted to change it. So I hope everybody could join us. Today we have a special guest, well, one of us actually. We're continuing the theme of vocal training on the ukulele. And last time in June, we talked about the interest in vocal harmonization. So, Sheridan, I'm going to turn this over to you. We have Sheridan who's going to talk about that.
Thank you. I'm Sheridan Malone, and I'm have been a workshop teacher and regular teacher at River Tunes, which I'm wearing a T-shirt. Just taught a session a couple of weeks ago. That one of the things I really love to share with other people when we can get together live is making harmony. And I know there's a lot of amateur singers out there who have no clue about how do you do it? What note do you go to? How do you make your sound like other people? And it seems like, and I want to do an experiment with Zoom because I haven't really done it, and I know that there's a lag time on making sound, but I still thought that if we actually sustained a sound, that we might be able to make it work. And so part of what harmony singing is about is making a sound and listening at the same time. So it's like it's a good challenge for your ear and your voice to try and stay in the same place. So I thought we'd try and do something simple. How many people are willing to sing, by the way? Right. Good. That's what this is about. Okay. So what I want to do is I'll start off with like a simple note, and to make usually to make a group sound like brothers or sisters or family is you have one person sing a note, and I'll volunteer for the first one, and I'll just go, hey, and what I want you to do, see if you can match that sound, go as long as you can, stop for a few seconds to get a breath and listen to see what the others are doing too. And let's see how that actually works. I haven't done this before, so this is totally experimental, but let's try it. So I'll start it off, and then you guys just join me. And don't stop when I stop. You stop when you need to stop and take a breath. So, hey, is that too high for everybody?
No, do you want us to unmute?
Oh, yes, you have to
Oh, okay. I'm
unmute.
going to turn this on so everyone unmute. All right.
So is that too high for everybody? That's a C. Can everybody make that note? I know, Lindsay, you're probably a bass. Yeah, well, let's do the low one too. So just you can do either one, the octave or the top. And I'm going to start and just join me. I can't hear you. The vowel we're trying to make, let me stop for a second. The vowel we're trying to make is A. And we'll actually have somebody else lead on another vowel just for a second. So let me try that again. A. So it kind of works. All right, let's try another one. So Mark, why don't you pick a vowel and A, E, I, O, U, and pick a note that's comfortable for you, and we'll see if we can match you.
Okay, this is an E. Open string on the E, on the second string. Oops, I should have it with me. E.
Try that again.
E.
Yeah.
E.
And Dan, are you singing?
E.
Dan, you're muted though.
Okay. So, Gene, why don't you try one? Can you sing okay? So it seems like, we can kind of hear and match each other, do this thing at the same time. So, Anne, why don't you pick one?
Okay.
Okay, Bruce, why don't you pick one?
Sure.
All right, well, this is cool. Okay, well, this is kind of the first step to making harmony is being able to sing and hear at the same time. So the next thing, that I try to do that's relatively low theory because a lot of people who I work with are not, sight readers or trained musicians or anything like that. I have taught choruses with music, but for amateur singers, they just want to get a feel for how it works. So I have a background in doing barbershop music for years and years, and I went to one of their workshops one time, and there was an old guy. He was kind of the Yoda of barbershop. His name was Lou Perry. He'd been around since vaudeville, and he was a wonderful person. And one of the things he said to me one day, and this is what kind of inspired me to do harmony workshops, is that he said there's only four sounds in music. And I said, what? And he goes, four triad sounds, four chord sounds that have the building blocks of a feel for music. And that is, we describe them in Western music as major, minor, augmented, and diminished. And mostly in Western music, we only sing the major and minor. I mean, in more complex music like jazz, you might get into the diminished and the augmented. But in general, for most of us amateur singers, we're mostly focusing on major and minor triads. So, am I in a position to be able to screen share here?
should be able to. Let's see. Share screen.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
see if I of you. It says you've disabled participant screen sharing. You could make me a co-host, and then
Oh,
I'd be
okay. All right, let me do that. Uh, Great. There you go. Okay.
okay. And all right, let's see if there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go to see if I can find this. This is the technical musical part. If you look at a C major chord, and I'm not talking about our one finger C played on the third fret, but if you play a let me move this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys all see this?
Yeah.
Is this showing on the screen?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, so if I make the B flat shape at the third fret, it's C, E, G. That is a triad. And triads are kind of the building blocks of those four sounds. And what's curious about them, if you look at the notes like the C minor, the C diminished, and the C augmented, they all are effectively using a C, E, G, C. But the thing that's interesting is that on a major chord, the distance between the root sound and the third is actually 4 frets away. And the distance from the third to the fifth is actually only 3 frets away. And those intervals are called, that 4 fret interval is called a major third. And from 3 to 5, that's actually a minor third. So basically, your C triad, and I'm talking about the bottom 3 notes on this picture, is effectively a stack of a major third topped by a minor third. So that's the major chord. Now when we go to the minor, we lower that third to a half a step, and we get, so we have a minor third on the bottom, and then the distance from the minor third to the fifth is 4 frets. So that's kind of, both of these sounds, the major and minor, are pretty, they're complete happy and sad sounding sounds. So the next one, which we will not likely use for harmony, has 2 minor thirds on top of each other. So it sounds compressed and kind of disturbed a little bit. And then by the same token, the augmented is just the opposite of that, where you have a major third on the bottom, and then you have a major third on top of that. So it's a stack of 2 major thirds. So you have that sound. And for singing harmony, those 3 notes in those 4 sounds, those are really the only choices. You notice that the top is always, is a repeat of the root. But basically the stack of thirds is what you see in the picture. And most people can kind of grasp that concept, and I've actually tabbed it out underneath if you want to actually play it. But the other thing, if you're singing choral music, especially barbershop or gospel, they'll take that C major sound and they'll take the third and put it up on top. So then they're going to have a sound that sounds like it. It's going to sound like this. Whoops. Oops, if I can make it here. Whoops, that's not it. So I have I want a C on the bottom. That's where I want it. So it's 1, 5, 1, 3. That chord in harmony rings the angels in. And if you sing it 1, 3, 5, 1, that chord is pretty good, but it's not as easy to sing and hear overtones on. And same thing with the minor variation of it. So you could have, instead of 1, 3 flat, 5, 1, if you do it so that it's like this, that actually sounds great when you have 4 people singing it. So one of the things I wanted to show, since these triads, for amateur people who don't read music, is notice how on the C chord, it's all, the intervals are always on line. So they're actually 3 notes away from each other. That's where they get the name third. Same thing with the B flat down at the bottom, is those are all on spaces. And so they're also a third away from each other. It's just sometimes it's a major third and sometimes it's a minor third. So there's only 2 intervals to learn and only 3 notes. So, all right, that's one piece of the puzzle here. And then I'm going to try and share another thing here for ukulele. This won't take very long. Here we go. Oops. Can you see this?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me stop the share and try it again. Phone, iPad. Oh, here we go. AirPlay by cable. This is what I want. It's showing a different picture. Try one more time here. Whoops, that wasn't it. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Let me try this one more time. Okay. There, it came through. Woohoo! Okay, so this is one of the my examples of how, when I teach I teach a Triad Secrets for Better Harmony right under your ukulele fingertips. This is one of the charts I use. When you play the B flat shape, you have that perfect 1, 3, 5, and then 8 up at the top. So let's try, when we go to C, I'm gonna do, but there's the 1, 3, 1 minor third, 5, 8, and then we're gonna do 1 minor third, flat 5, 8. That's the B flat diminished. And then if we do the augmented, it's 1, 3, 5, sharp, 8. So those are kind of cool chords. So now I'm going to go to C, and let's see if we can actually do this. I'll sing the bottom note and see if you can sing one of the notes on top of it. It's 1, 3. So let's do it on ah. So pick one of the other notes if you can. Oh, I'm going to take the top one. So actually, can somebody sing the bottom one for me? Yeah, and keep making it. And then somebody add the third. They add the 5. So everybody got one of those notes? So let's try that all together. And take a breath and come back in and take a listen, see if you can actually hear the rest of us. I can actually hear you all making a chord. That's great. All right, let's try the minor. We're not going to sing the diminished and the augmented. I just wanted to get a feel, see if you can actually do that. So that's basically the concept, is that if somebody's looking for a note to play or a note to sing, you know, and those are really the choices. And especially when you're doing major and minor. So, you know, there's always a question about, let me take this one off, or actually I'm going to change the, I'm going to change the screen to another one. Well, let me try it again here. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and go.
That's actually a really nice set of chord diagrams to teach chord shape.
I made my own fingerings, and I use a little, my song program is Onsong, and it allows you to build, you know, chord tab shapes if you want. So let me go back to this. And now my screen is not responding. Come on. Anyway, well, I'm going to go without the chart and just show you what I like to do. This is both on B flat and with C, or that whole movable shape is that. And I'll see if I can get a give you a better view of what I'm doing. So anyway, if you take, people always say, well, what about the other chords, like, you know, sevenths, ninths? Well, what's great is that all of those sounds are added to the basic triad sound. So if you have a, you know, a C major sound and it looks like this, and then you put your pinky down on where the fifth is, that's C6. It's 1, 3, 6, 8. And if you move it up, move your pinky up one more, you get a flatted 7. 1, 3, 7, 8. And if you put it up top, you get a ninth chord. That's why I love this shape, is because you get so many flavors out of the same shape. And then, of course, you can make it minor. There's 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 flat 5, 8, and 1, 3 flat 6, 8, 1, 3 flat, flatted 7, 8, and 1, 3 flatted 7, 9. You can make a minor 9. So I like that shape because you can get so many different flavor chords out of the same thing, but it's also a way, if somebody's trying to learn, well, if I wanted to sing the 6 on that chord, where is it? Well, it's 1, 3, 6. That's the sustain, often coming down to a 5 when people are ending a song, or sometimes is used la, la, la. That's a move you hear in barbershop where they go 5, 6, 7. And it's really fun for people to try and sing those, and hear it. And here, if I give you a note, and I'm singing a melody, and I'm there. What's left? If we're playing a C chord, what's left? What are the other notes? You have three choices basically. So that's the fifth. There's the third. There's the root. So if people can, if they can learn Do Mi So or 1 3 5, and I mean even if people know the song Do a Deer, at the end of the song, there's a lovely little bell chord that gives you the clue. Do, mi, so, so. So if you know where do is, you can always figure out the other two. And so I find it's fun for people to try and share those. But now I'm going to try and give you, I'll end my little presentation of triads with, we're going to build a chord on the fifth. And I want somebody to be able to, how many people men can sing the G? Or let's do it on la, la. Can you sing an octave higher, Lindsay? La. Okay, so, and who can sing, let's see. So what I want to do is I want to teach 4 notes. So if you're going to sing the G, I want you to sing G, la, 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 la. So it's G-A-A-B if you want to play it, if you have a low G ukulele. La, G, A, B. So try that. La, 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 la. Can you do that? So
One after another?
So you're going to do la, 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 la. Those are the 4 notes or the bottom part. So we're gonna do these all together, and we're gonna make chords. But first, maybe it might make it a little. I think it's easier to learn the 4 notes. So it's la 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 la. Okay, so you got your part. Now I want somebody to take the C and go la 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 la. So you're doing C C C D.
La 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 la.
So, but I'm gonna the women. I'll save you for the higher part. So see if can you do that, Bruce? Can you do that? La 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 la. Okay, let me hear you do it. La, 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 la. Great, okay, so now we're gonna go E, E, F, oops, E, F, G. So, and see if you can do that. La, 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 la.
La 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 la.
Okay, and then Jean, can you do the top part? We're gonna do G, G, A, B, la, 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 la. That's right. So let's all make the first note together. So the bottom's gonna be la. This is the next one. I'll make it all together, and here we go. I'll see if I can direct it. We're missing a note. Let's see. So it's la. We need a la. There. Okay, here we go. Ready? La. Okay, now sing the second one. That's right. Yeah, Lindsay, you're the only one that really changes. So try that one more time. Let's do the first and the second. What do you do? La, la. All right, and I'm going to sing with Lindsay this time. La, la. Now let's make the third one. And the fourth one. All right, let's see if we can do it all
I
together.
don't remember my notes.
I'm not gonna, anybody questioning what they have to do?
Yeah, I don't remember my notes.
Okay,
What chords are we doing?
we're doing
Just the
we're
chords.
doing C, A minor, F, G.
Okay.
So and you remember yours. Okay, and you got yours. La 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 la.
Yep.
And then Bruce, la 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 la, and Lindsay were at la 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 la. So let's do it all together now. Here we go. See if we can come in together. I can appreciate the lag time, but I think it's working okay. La, Good. All right, great. Okay, and now the way this really gets done, and it'll clue you into as to what song it is we're going to start one note at a time like a bell chord. So we're going to start with Lindsay, then go to Bruce, then go to Anne, then go to Jean, but don't stop singing until the top person has come in. So let's do the first one now. So la, la, and then so it's going to be Lindsay, Bruce, and Jean. Okay, so but keep singing, everybody. So let's try it one more time. One more time. Here we go. So la. Now we start the next one. La. And then la. 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 And that's at the hump. La la. That's a great bell chord. But what's interesting is that it starts on the fifth. It doesn't start on the root. So it goes 5 1 5 1 5 Anyway, it's a fun.
Sheridan, I wonder if you want to try that again, but maybe you could use your fingers to indicate.
Oh, the parts.
Like
Okay,
1,
so
2,
all right, so let's try that. So we'll make Lindsay 1, we'll make Bruce 2, we'll make Anne 3, we'll make Jean 4, and see if we can do it. La. So here we go. La. Next one. La. Okay. La. La. And then at the hop. So anyway, thank you for indulging me. I didn't know how this would work over Zoom, but it almost did.
This is interesting in that when we were singing in unison, it all sounded great. But the minute we broke into harmony, things went in and out, in and out. I
Yeah,
wonder why that is so.
I don't know. Usually you can hear other sounds simultaneously, but I guess depending on the frequency and the volume, it's going to change in terms of how it actually receives at everybody's computer. But yeah, I've worked with another program called Jamulus, which reduces the lag time to milliseconds, so that it's like you're really sitting maybe 6 to 8 feet away from somebody playing instead of miles and miles away. But
Well,
That's
I guess
some,
the only way to really try it is to do something rhythmical. I mean, like we can even try singing the whole triad, all seven of us at the same time.
yeah, yeah, rhythm is what. Yeah,
Let's just say, for example, la la la, all of us together, or la la la, even faster. And you can even go 1, 2, 3, 4, la la la, and then the next chord, la la la, etc., etc.
anyway, well, thank you for indulging me in my little presentation, and
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheridan.
you're
Great.
welcome.
So this gave me some ideas on what to do in class. I just want to share something with you that I started but I haven't completed, which I did in music theory, and this is on high G ukulele. Where is that? Seventh chords. Yeah. So from the left, so it's one note at a time. If you just look at the top, we go from an augmented chord to a major, C major, to a C major 7, to a C7 chord, to a C. Which one is that? Sorry,
Well, it's a
half.
C major 7th, C, and then a flatted C
Yeah.
flatted C 7th,
So it's a C.
and then
Yeah, it's a
a
C
C
minor
minor,
7th.
C
So
minor 7th.
C minor 7, and then flat 5, and then diminished. So each time you move it one at a time. So, except the problem, it worked really well until we got to number 6, in which, I couldn't do it on the ukulele easily. So this
You
is
mean on the high G?
on the high G, yeah. So
Yeah,
this is
that's.
C.
I guess that's one of the reasons I tend to be drawn more to the low G. Is that more room for melodies and chords?
Yeah, I so this is a good way to kind of explain. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. C major 7, C7, and then this does work, but on my program, so this does work here. So it's simply a 0 there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, 0.
Yeah, mine defaults to a 0.
That's right. C minor 7th. And this is a C. Which one is it? C.
There's a C diminished 7th.
Yeah, C diminished. Actually, no, because yeah, C, because the bottom is C diminished, but then you have a major third at the top. Yeah,
No, you still have the flatted 7th.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Uh, yeah, but it's a,
I think that'd still be a C diminished 7th.
isn't it C?
Isn't that
C.
half diminished, like a C minor 7 flat 5?
Yeah, that's right. It's half diminished. C minor 7
Oh,
flat
half
5.
diminished.
And then up here you get the C diminished 7th.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question is how do we continue, you know? Is there a shape to do the C, you know, C minor 7 flat 5 on the high G ukulele? You have to
I'm
take
sorry,
it.
Anne, but in
Pardon?
number 5, where's the C?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sorry if I say so.
That's a good one. So I need to have a different shape for that one. So I need to have the C is going to have to be there.
Well, the C can be, well,
Yeah.
theoretically, it could be 5 on the bottom string, but
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then it's going to double with the top.
Yeah, you're right. This doesn't work here. Yeah. So no wonder I crossed it out. It wasn't working. Yeah. Let me see. Let me erase that here. So what are those 3 shapes at the end, basically? How would you do that? So if we have the B flat here, so we have the A, if I put it here, yeah, and then we have an E flat. E flat will have to be here.
You also do that. You go to the fifth fret.
Yeah, the 5th fret. Well, on a low, are you on a
I'm on a low, but
Yeah.
it would still be the correct chord.
right? So if I have, so the thing is, C minor 7 is just this, isn't it? It's just a bar chord, so it's 3 3 3 3. Yeah. So this would work here. So this should be a 3. And then you can have a 3 down here. That would work. 3 3 3 3. Yeah. And then from there, we could probably easily, you know, go to C minor 7 flat 5 because we would just need to flatten so it becomes 3 3 2 3 for C minor 7 flat 5. Yeah. And then in order to find C diminished 7th, it would just be then that would work. That would work 2 3 2 3. Yeah. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have a little bit of time to talk about what everyone has submitted. Some people, I did have a question. This is my form. Do you wish your name to be revealed, associated, or be anonymous? And only 2 people wanted to be anonymous. So let's talk about. So let me just share with you topics that people are interested in. So basically everything from A to Z. This one person wrote who chose to be anonymous. The other person that chose to be anonymous was to learn more from experienced teachers. Yeah. And but the topics, so the anonymous people first, the topics most interested in learning is how to promote classes. So that's interesting. And interested in supporting, why are you interested in supporting monthly meetings to keep it going? Basically to listen to other approaches to teaching, what's relevant, you know. All right, and then those that are willing to share, let's see, I can probably just share this. Oh, probably easier if I just read it out. Topics interested in learning so that you can teach or teach better. Playing technique methods. Oh, music theory, strumming techniques, preparation of song sheets in a way that highlights teachable moments. Sounds like Mark. Whenever I hear teachable moments, it sounds like something. Yeah. And then you're willing to teach on Hawaiian strumming. Some others interested in learning how to teach rhythm, strumming styles, finger style, chord melody, and where to find the appropriate music and songs. And this is Sandra in the UK. She also wants to know how to teach better and what to teach. And expertise she has is how to teach strumming, where to find the songs. It'd be great to have a database of where all the songs are. And another person, all the above, this is Jane. Publishing and producing videos are not on her agenda. Intro to voice, so we covered that last month, at our last meeting. I don't know whether we covered how to read music, though. Have we covered that? Does everyone remember? Did we ever talk about how to read music? How to read tabs, but not how to read music, Okay, so she's taught college level courses and a lot of experience in training modules for business world, but not teaching music. So this is interesting because we have a lot of people that come into the ukulele space that have been teaching, but not specifically teaching the ukulele or teaching music. So whether some of that could be transferable.
Well, somebody made the comment last time too, is that a lot of times what you're getting, it's particularly in a group that's gathering for a quote jam, is people who just want to, they want to sing and play. And that if, I've worked with a number of groups where they actually learned something and they accomplished, like learning something with double stops and learning to do some particular technique. And then it's kind of like working with silly putty, you've got them into the shape and then you turn around and come back the next week and nobody remembers anything because they're not practicing it. I mean, they were intrigued by it and they picked it up while you were doing it. And sometimes, you get, some success that way. But I guess the other part of it is, people really have to want to drink from that well. They have to really kind of get into it and try it on their own and then kind of incorporate it into their playing style.
Well, for me, the only way to get people to practice is if they have to play in front of other people. Then they'll definitely practice if they're being called on or if they're going to perform. That's why I really want people to sign up to perform. Yeah, but that's a good point. So let me continue on. Topics that are interesting in learning, everything. Yeah, so we have people who are beginners in teaching. So they, and our meetings do get watched. So another one is wanting to learn about rhythm accuracy with strumming techniques. Basically, happy to see a pedagogy of teaching being developed using the ukulele to learn basic rhythm until the complicated rhythms. This is Kelly. I know she's doing her research, her master's research on rhythm. And then someone else, let's see, this is Amber in Pittsburgh, teaching people not to rush and publishing her sheet music, promoting classes and ensembles, video tutorials, social media help. And she's got expertise in curriculum development, counting strategies, notation strategies, MuseScore, and arranging. So earlier, Kelly has experience in organizing ukulele festivals. This is a topic I'm interested in, and I know Dan has been organizing festivals. We've never had a session on organizing festivals. Probably makes more sense if you're about to organize a festival and you've got no experience, and that's the time to have it. So this is basically that's 11 entries. I didn't use it. I didn't enter one myself. What I would put in terms of what I'm interested in is basically how to manage my teaching, because I seem to cater to, whatever my students want. So sometimes I end up with like 11 classes, 11 different group classes. Hey, look who's here. Long time no see. Long time no see, Lan. How are you doing? So another idea that I have recently is to ask the different experts, who have a lot of video presence, who have created video. I know Ken Middleton recently came out with 5 video tutorials. So he's just done them. So, hot off the press, he could share with us how did he do, why did he focus on those teaching points, So, and Lindsay, since you're on a quest to write ukulele ensemble music, I think one of the topics I'm interested in, since I do group teaching, is how do you cater to different people, different levels in the same group? Yeah. I always try to, I show them a piece of music and I give them different options. So the latest one, for example, is a song that I did with my friend on Thursday, and that is, what is that called? It's called "Hold Me Now" by Thompson Twins. Okay, so it's really a 4-chord song. So I say you could just play these 4 chords, the same chord progression, the same order in the 3 verses, also in the chorus, which is just D, B minor. You could just move your D over here, same fret, 2nd fret, and just play those 3 strings. So D, B minor, and then you go to a C, and then it's a A. Okay, just those 4 chords. You could play the whole song. But those people that want to do something more different, you could do this D, go down to a D major 7, and then go to B minor, and then go to a C9, and then go to a C, and then go to an A7 sus4, and then go to an A7. And what's interesting is we could all play together with those changes. So basically you're moving to 7 or 8 chords, actually 8 chords, versus somebody else who's only doing 4 chords, and it works. So
Yeah, I like, I've arranged a number of duets, and sometimes I have, depending on the skill level, somebody playing the melody in double stops and somebody actually playing an accompaniment that's just an arpeggio. And, I'm been scoring and tabbing both versions of those, like Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Um, songs like that. So it's fun, because it gives, two people an opportunity to do something entirely different, or it gives them the opportunity to learn both parts. So
I think so too. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, because I'm part of a guitar orchestra, so it's really like a guitar quartet. And there's always four parts. So guitar one, always you give it to somebody who plays a lot more notes and it always up the neck, right? Right. And by the time you get to guitar four, that's the part that plays fewer notes and usually, the first three frets. So I'm just wondering whether that formula can be applied to everything, to ukulele ensembles. Yeah. You play fewer notes. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
When with my younger students, I take it a different from the other direction, in that I try and group them in the same. I don't try and have multi-layered things that they just can't cope. So there's a timetabling issue. So I'm constantly saying, oh well, you've reached a point where I think you should come along to the Friday classes, and they're going, oh, I've gone up a level. So it's almost sort of like a martial arts belt type thing. In their minds, I think that is what they're thinking. Oh, I've gone up a level. But like with my the group that I play with, who are all students, that is definitely a multi-leveled task, and it is exactly as you say. I have some people who are pulling out a riff through things, and other people, and there are and then up the neck versions of the chords or various things like that. And then there's someone who's just joined the group who's doing lessons as well, but they've been playing the ukulele for a month now, which is very exciting. And they're playing the single. If it's even if it's a C chord, they're just playing a C note. You can take it right down to absolute barest basics. But they're going, I'm in the band. I'm a part of this. This is and that sort of instant gratification means that they are practicing and they are picking up the chords, and of course they're progressing along. I mean, I think it is important to have that sense of participation in order to actually want to progress. So you're certainly not doing anyone a disservice by saying, look, I just want you to play these individual notes while everyone else is doing something else. You are giving them inspiration and reason to continue practicing and improving, but also what they're doing is adding to the overall performance as well. I mean, everyone benefits and everyone wins.
Yeah, I think for these group classes, also I found because most of my students, like 99.5%, are older adults, and a lot of them are older than me. So there are different issues like injury, just not being able to use their little finger, or, and so having different options is critical. And it's very similar to, I guess, when you work out, physical workout, there will be the fast jumping jack, 3rd level. So our physical fitness instructor always says that you could do number 1 level, so just slow pace walking, number 2 level, a little bit more motion, 3 if you want to do jumping jacks. So always giving them options. So I'm just wondering, it's such a luxury if everybody could just go to the same level, if they all started at the same. But usually I don't, that hasn't happened with me, with my students. Well, we've got 3 minutes left, so I just wonder if we could just open up to do a vote for August. Is everybody okay meeting on the 2nd Saturday in August? And a vote on what topic you like to do? I wish I could just do a quick poll, but there's just so few of us. We might as well just vote. I mean, I'd love to be able to help Lindsay just contribute and take a look at maybe a different ukulele ensemble music, you know, where you find them, and what constitutes a really good arrangement, you know, a good ukulele ensemble piece. What is that? I was going to say Steph Payne's Chariots of Fire. That was excellent. And, you know, I think it's 4 or 5 parts, and one person can always strum the chords. What kind of surprised me was that the ostinato was actually one of the hardest parts. You would think if you're only doing this, that would be easy, right? But not everybody could keep a steady tempo and use that to lead, you know, lead the group. So I'm going to ask Lindsay.
One thing I've found is last week I've written a piece for ukuleles, guitars and bass guitars, and I got all my students to play it together. One of the things I found with the ukulele part, because it was in a similar range to the top 2 strings of the guitar, they found it really difficult to get a decent balance. And I wondered that, imagine with the smaller range of ukuleles, that's something to be really careful about, really.
Sorry. This is interesting because in orchestra, we've expanded to include ukulele. And what's interesting is that ukulele works really well when we highlight, you know, like we do some strums. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Like a rhythm instrument, while everybody else is plucking away. And we just add that in. Yeah. The guitarist says so. They really liked it.
Yeah.
Well, are you, Lindsay, were you talking about just the volume in the ensemble was too small?
It's more a case of I had some quite enthusiastic ukulele players, and the part they had was in a similar kind of pitch level to the guitar 1 part, which was quite a bit higher for the guitar, because of their. And I did find when I was conducting it that it was actually quite difficult for the guitars to be heard above the ukulele, because it's just in the same kind of range, really.
In the same frequency.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, how does everyone feel about this topic then? Different levels, teaching different levels and arranging different levels, music for different levels. Since Lindsay's doing that and I'm also doing that. Does anyone else do that? Jeannie?
I won't be here next month. It's
Okay.
the Hawaiian Steel Guitar Festival here in California. And the following month I have a gig on the 2nd Saturday. So, yeah, I won't be with you
Okay.
until October.
All right. Mark?
I'll be at the Aloha Festival too in a month. But I did want to say that I was wondering whether when you talked about teaching for various levels, you were including when you meet for jams and you have people of various levels, how you work with that.
Yes.
Because one of the things that's happened on Zoom for us is that somebody will come in with a very complex arrangement of a song, and I'll watch the Zoom screen and I'll see people just glazing over and dropping out who, you know, they take one look at it and they say, I can't do that yet. But in person, you know, what I tell people is if you're not prepared to play every single chord because they come by too fast, pick the ones you know and wait for them to happen. So I was wondering whether when you talk about teaching various levels, whether you're thinking more of a formal instruction setting, or you also want to include jams where people have to play at different levels. And if you want to do the latter, then I would rather be here when you discuss that. And if you're going to do the former, it's not an issue for me because I don't teach classes. So you could
So
go ahead
you're
and do
not
that without me.
available next neither
gonna-
the
we're-
second nor the third Saturday?
The second Saturday is the week of is that weekend is a Steel Guitar Festival, and then the Aloha Festival in San Mateo. So we'll be there. I
Right.
think that's right.
And Mark,
Okay.
in September, the second Saturday in September, we have a gig on the 10th
Okay,
with Scott.
Right.
right.
Well,
This is all my fault because I forced you to move from the third Saturday to the second Saturday. So go ahead, take your shots.
all right. Okay, no, because this happens in my group too. You know, somebody wanted to do Great Pretender in G sharp. You know, it's like, why G sharp? That's impossible. So I said, how about G? And then he said, oh yeah, I could do G. And then when he was performing, I realized he's a bar chord player, so he doesn't care where it is, right? But for the rest of us, it matters a lot. Okay, well, I mean, Dan, how do you feel?
I always enjoy coming along and I'm always learning something new. So
Okay,
I'm one of those very boring people who will be happy with anything, Anne.
all right, okay, sounds good. So basically, different levels.
CGDFA.
Yeah, right. Yeah, CGDF. Okay.
And just a thought, because it kind of reminded me of a little workshop I went to one time called Jamming 101, and it was basically is how when you have a group getting together and they're all different levels, is, you know, how can you encourage people who don't know what's going on to get involved? And the hierarchy was basically, well, if you don't know the song, if you don't know the chords, you can just do you can do something percussive or simple, you know. And then if you do know the key, but you don't know all the chord changes on a simple folk tune, you'll be right 66% of the time, or at least you won't be messing it up. And so, I mean, that was the logic, was that you could do something, you know, that embellishes what's going on with the song that's being played, and eventually get to the point of actually taking a solo. And I imagine, you know, if people are playing at different levels, that's really what they're doing. They're learning to take a piece and play at whatever level they're at, or it's been arranged.
Yes, I think so. That would be really good. I'm not sure if we cover this topic, but it certainly happens, doesn't it? Yeah, everybody's at a different level. And Bruce, yeah, you give strategies as well, what people could do, right?
Well, you know, for the voice, it's a completely different issue because, you know, each voice is different. And we heard that even when we were doing our 4 notes now. I mean, you know, sometimes you just have to find a different possibility. Whereas with an instrument, yes, you can have a low G or a high G, but, you know, the instruments are quite similar. So it's not really comparable, I think.
Yeah.
That is true, though, from other points of view, even vocally. There are I'm not trying not to contradict myself. You can simplify a vocal line by making the melody move around less. And I'm sure Sheridan would confirm this, that you can, you can make the bass part so you're just doing the ba, 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 you know, you're just doing the one note per measure, that kind of thing. So by moving less, you're simplifying the part. Now, it might be a little more boring, but that's one strategy. Another is having smaller intervals, so that you're having runs like scales, that kind of thing. You know, you can do a lot of things to simplify it. You know, not having it go to extreme parts of one's range. That's fundamental. instead of having an octave and a half for the Star Spangled Banner, and reduce it to an octave by cutting out the final high notes. It's a little less exciting, but it makes it more singable for some people.
Yeah, I think so. That would be great. So, welcome, Kelly. Long time no see. We're just about to end our meeting today, but we were going to vote on what to talk about next time. And Lindsay is writing ukulele ensembles, so I'm really excited because he's such a great composer that I want to contribute to that because I'm always trying to find music for all the different levels in my group classes. So we thought maybe next time we could talk about that, talk about the challenges of different levels. Yeah. And pay attention. So some of the things that Bruce just suggested, yeah, fewer notes if you want to simplify it, more predictable, rhythmic, repetition. Yeah. And the not such big ranges, and certainly for ukulele it will be like lower in the frets. And Lan, are you now ready to join us? We haven't seen you in a long time. You're muted.
Yes, yes, I'm definitely ready. I didn't want to speak out too much because unfortunately I had a student come in with a crisis, and so I missed the first part of the meeting. But I'm glad to be back. I was just listening to the last bit of the conversation. I just wanted to give a comment. I don't know if it adds too much or solves anything, but I have been in two different groups that virtually exploded by rushing to the opposite ends of this question of accommodating different groups, different tastes, different interests. The one group was virtually everybody abandoned it because the leader of the group insisted that every beginner should feel comfortable with every song all the way through. And so you wound up with robo strum, zugga, 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 zugga in the key of C or G. And that just got so boring that people drifted away. And so you can't do that. You have to find ways to allow more polished or more engaged players to provide some of the fancier bits. And you have to work to be able to work them in a way that does not interfere with the others. In my class, one of my classes, I very much talk about different versions of these chords. And I said, so if you guys and a C, and a C6, all C's share notes so that it looks exotic. Just play the bass minor, the extra notes that season up the chord, but you'll still be playing, you'll still be participating, you'll still sound good, you won't bother anybody. And the other group was taken over, and I mean that in probably the most literal sense. The person who assumed the leadership of the group was a very talented musician who had been a professional music teacher for most of her career. And she insisted that they were going to push the group toward where they should be, which was Ukestra. And you wound up playing songs in which each person was sitting going plunk, plunk, single notes. And I realized pretty quickly that all of her arrangements were simply the four notes of the chord. And it didn't sound good. It was hard to do. And everybody who wasn't interested in doing this highly mechanical sort of thing, they drifted away and the group fell apart again. So being able to let the less experienced players play the rhythm part, put the bass down, provide a background song or a percussion, I think is terribly important for every group. And that also means for those who are a bit more flashy, that they get to shine more. They can be aspirational for everybody else. The idea that everybody has to squeeze together is always really nuts.
Yeah, we had some trouble hearing you. You were
Oh.
coming in and out, maybe because of there's background noise or something. I'm I'm gonna call this meeting to a close and stop recording. And should we go with that topic? We'll try to, the second Saturday in August. Lindsay, will you be able to be there for that? Yeah,
Yeah, I should be there. Yeah, second Saturday in August. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Second Saturday in August. Wow, it's like a year since we met each other face to
Yeah.
face.
Gosh. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No way
All right.
quick.
All right. So we'll find some samples and talk about different strategies. That'd be great. So let's
If I,
pardon?
if I send one, because I've started writing some ensemble pieces. If I send one over, I'd be interested if you're able to share it, just to
Yeah.
see what you think about it. It's really useful,
Okay.
actually.
I'll be happy to. And now
Yeah.
you've given me permission to share the waltz that you wrote for me. I'll share with this group if I may.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
share with my students. Well, I'm not teaching again till September, but
No.
let's thank Sheridan for giving us an hour of his time. Sheridan, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, thank you, Sheridan. Okay. All right, and thank you all for attending today. I'm just going to stop.